Two sons killed their parents inside their own home, and for months, no one suspected them. The father never saw it coming. He was sitting in his living room, at home, safe, or at least, that's what he thought. Because seconds later, gunshots tore through the house, and everything changed. In 1989, inside a luxury home in Beverly Hills, something happened that didn't make sense. A wealthy couple, successful, well-known, found dead in their own living room. No signs of forced entry, no robbery, nothing missing, just violence, up close, personal, and that's what made it different. Police arrived expecting a break-in, something simple, but this wasn't simple. The scene was chaotic, overwhelming, the kind of violence that doesn't come from a stranger. It felt emotional, targeted, almost personal, and that's when the questions started. If this wasn't a break-in, then who did it? And more importantly, why? The couple had two sons, two young men in their early 20s, well-dressed, confident, used to a life most people only dream about. Expensive cars, luxury lifestyle, no financial problems. From the outside, everything looked perfect. But sometimes, what looks perfect isn't real. At first, the two brothers seemed exactly how you'd expect. Quiet, shocked, trying to process what happened. But something about them didn't sit right. It was subtle, easy to ignore at first, but once you noticed it, you couldn't unsee it. Within weeks, things changed. They started spending money, not a little, a lot. Luxury watches, high-end clothes, new cars, trips, fast, carefree, like nothing had happened and people noticed. Because this didn't feel like grief, it felt like freedom. At first, no one connected it. Grief looks different on everyone, right? But this didn't feel different. It felt wrong. Months passed, and then everything shifted. One of the brothers started talking, not to police, to someone else. A private conversation, one that was never supposed to go beyond that moment. But it did, and once those words were spoken, there was no taking them back. That conversation reached the authorities, and suddenly, everything changed. Investigators started looking closer at the timeline, at their behavior, at the money, at what didn't add up. And slowly, piece by piece, everything started pointing back to the same place. The house, that night, those two brothers. At first, it didn't make sense. Why would they do it? They had everything. Money, comfort, opportunity. There was no obvious reason. But sometimes, the truth isn't visible on the surface. When they were brought in for questioning, they didn't break immediately. They stayed composed, careful with their words, measured. But pressure does something to people. It builds, slowly, quietly, until it becomes too much. Questions became sharper, timelines didn't match, silence started to grow between answers, and eventually, they broke. They admitted it. They were the ones who pulled the trigger. Just like that, the entire case flipped. From mystery to something far more complicated, because their explanation changed everything. They said they were afraid. Not for days, not for weeks, for years. They claimed their home wasn't safe. That behind the image of wealth and perfection, there was something darker, something hidden, something no one else could see. And suddenly, this wasn't just a murder case anymore. It became something else. A question, a debate, a divide. Was this self-defense, or was it planned? People took sides. Some believed them, completely. Others didn't believe a word. And the more details came out, the more complicated it became. Stories of control, tension, fear, years of conflict behind closed doors. A family that looked perfect on the outside, but may not have been on the inside. And then came the night itself, the moment everything changed. That night, they walked into the living room, calm, armed, focused. No argument, no warning, no hesitation, just action. Multiple shots, close range, fast, and just like that, it was over. 2 lives, gone. 1 decision made. A moment that couldn't be undone. But what followed lasted for years. Courtrooms filled with people, testimonies, arguments, emotions running high, the entire country watching. Because no matter what side you were on, one thing was clear. This case wasn't simple, it wasn't clean, and it didn't have easy answers. Every detail added more questions, every answer created more doubt, and that's what made it unforgettable. In the end, the court made its decision. Both brothers were found guilty of murder. They were sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. 2 sons, 1 night, 1 choice that changed everything. But even now, years later, people still ask the same question. What was really happening inside that house before the shots were fired? And was it fear or something else entirely?